Yankee fan, but never both.
And I put on the old Brooklyn Dodger hat. How's that, huh?
When going out meant a trip to the corner store for an egg cream, and a night out meant none other than Coney Island.
My doctor says my cholesterol is 240. I know the only thing that'll bring it down is a hot dog from Nathan's.
Whether you grew up in this unique place or not, you won't want to miss New York the way it was, Brooklyn. Coming up next on WLIW 21.
The following program is brought to you by grants from Forest City Ratner Companies, dedicated to a growing Brooklyn, an independent savings bank, 145 years of helping Brooklynites in their pursuit of happiness.
There's always been magic in this place. A strange enchantment that transforms groups of immigrants into a fiercely loyal community, and the place itself into the stuff of legend. A legend the entire world came to know as Brooklyn. The beginning was not especially promising. Lying in the long shadow of Manhattan, Brooklyn was forever the butt of jokes. A classic as a doctor examining a young Army recruit.
Where are you from, son?
I'm from Brooklyn.
Any other disabilities?
Brooklyn is often misjudged by outsiders. And that's okay, because Brooklyn understands what makes it special and what ultimately made it famous. Its magic is in the character of its people and in the people who are its characters.
First of all, the names of people that I grew up with are remarkable. You always remember those names. There's Bucko. Bucko was a neighborhood person. There's Zeke. There's Ho-Ha, who used to speak of Ho-Ha. My name is Ho-Ha. And then there was a guy whose name was Gutter Rat. Gutter Rat, what kind of name is? In fact, his mother would call him a gutter rat, time to come home for milk.
Brooklynites are wonderful, but you know, between the actual thing and the telling of it, they seem to color it with a little flavor.
Oh, boy, the street I lived on a couple of streets in Brown, and I loved every minute of living there. I love Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn. If you notice, I start off with a contemporary Al Lewis hat, and that's a cowboy hat made for me by the best Western hat maker, Manny Gamage in Buda, Texas. So now, Manny, I have to tell you, I'm going to take this hat off. I'm going to cover up the intelligent questions that the guy wrote down, and I put on the old Brooklyn Dodger hat. How's that, huh? Walter O'Malley, eat your heart out. Now, what were you saying?
For all its excesses, Brooklyn life has always had a very solid foundation, the neighborhood.
Bensonhurst was a family-oriented, God-fearing Jewish-Italian community. And people worked together and cried together and laughed together. And it was a hard-working community. There was very little snobbery that I recall.
My grandmother bought a house in Bed-Stuy. It was the second house she owned. She moved to Howard Avenue. And my mother took up one of the apartments in that house. And so we grew up with my grandmother always in the house. 3 generations, and I think most of my friends were 3-generation families, you know, something you don't see anymore.
Sheepshead Bay was a fantastic place to grow up. We had such wonderful times. Like when it snowed, we had my father would say, come on, everybody out, we're going to shovel the driveway and the sidewalk. We'd end up having a snowball fight.
There was something enriching here that bound most people and neighborhoods together. A sense that Brooklyn itself was a large, protective family. As Brooklynites, we were all in the struggle together, and we'd prevail together.
Grandmothers knew grandmothers, no matter where they came from. They all swept the streets together. They all talked together. Fathers knew fathers. Everybody knew everybody else's kids. So you weren't able to do anything really naughty because somebody spotted you and your mother knew it within seconds, you know. So we were a real homogeneous kind of community.
I remember I once was running away from home, but I couldn't cross the street by myself. So the furthest I could go was come around the block, go to the Marlboro Theater, and there was like a board, like a show board that stood. I hid behind the show board. It's the story of my life for a while. Then I had to go home again.
My earliest memory was standing on a street, watching the first paving of that block, with the asphalt rollers going back and forth, smoothing the blacktop. I stood there with my brand new sneakers on, waiting for a moment to stamp down and leave my mark for posterity. When some woman walked by and said, I know you and I know your mother, don't do it. This is how I was introduced to what civilization was all about.
If the block was an extended family, the local candy store was its community living room.
My home consisted of the back 3 rooms of a candy store, a little candy store, where toys and what they call egg creams, and you could buy Indian nuts. I used to have to sweep the floor in the store quite often of all the shells from the Indian nuts. They bite it, spit it out, and then I'd clean them up.
No one had telephones, so the phone in the candy store was what was used by people. We kids would hang around. The owner would answer a phone and say, go call so-and-so to the telephone. And we would call them, and the typical tip was 2 cents. But one day, I was told to go call somebody to the telephone. And this guy came down, spoke on the phone after a while. When he came out, he says, who's the kid that called me? He says, me. And he went over and he handed me 25 cents. I nearly dropped dead. He says, mister, you gave me 25 cents. He says, it's nothing. Get out of here. I says, who was that, Rockefeller? He says, no, that was Gura Shapiro, who was one of the main hitmen for Murder Incorporated.
Brooklyn people were mostly honest, hard-working folks, drawn from all over the world to this flashpoint of opportunity. Success here was not a gift, but a hard-earned prize, won by the efforts of determined men and women.
My dad worked 2 jobs in the beginning, you know, pushing delivery carts and working in a gas station at night, so it was very tough. And 7 of us, he always, remember him telling my mom, you know, Evelyn, we may not be rich, but I always want enough food on the table for the children.
You gotta eat, you gotta pay the rent. You know, I was a plumber's helper. I sold toys in the old A&S in Brooklyn, Christmas. I worked for the post office Christmas time. I was a messenger. I was a store detective for R.H. Mason. I had a million jobs. Well, you gotta eat, you know, and I'm not embarrassed to say that, you know. Some people say, don't say you were a plumber's helper. What did you do? I cleaned toilets. What do you mean, what did I do?
As the Great Depression took its toll, Brooklyn's houses of worship had more than sermons to deliver.
When people were in need, the church was a place you could come to. Talking about for food, because they would let the membership know, take up an offering, and see that you got food. The same thing if you didn't have a place to stay. There'd be somebody that would open their home to you.
I remember dolls made out of clothespins. And I remember playing jacks, which cost nothing. And I remember sneaking after the Iceman's truck and getting slivers. So we didn't have ice cream. We had slivers of ice that we used to suck on.
Survival in Brooklyn was more than putting food on the table. It meant nourishing the spirit as well.
My father was out of work. He was looking for work, and he would have to go out in a cab and try to make a quarter. My mother would say, go out, and he says, there's nobody using cabs anymore. And he'd come back with a quarter, and there were tears in his eyes, you know. But he always had enough money to take me to see a vaudeville show. And my mother resented that. She said, how could you, where do you get the money to go to a vaudeville show? And that's how I got turned on to being an actor.
During the Depression years, 29, 30, 31, I worked for my uncle, making $8 a week. And one day, someone heard me sing and gave me a job to sing at a wedding. And I got $5 plus dinner. I mean, that was, and I made $8 a week working for my uncle. I said, this is my racket.
Despite tough times, clever kids found ways to thrive on Brooklyn's streets.
When I got to be about 12, I got one of my first jobs as a delivery boy for a tuxedo and bridal gown rental shop on Stone Avenue. Now, in those days, Brooklyn had one of the most complex trolley car systems with free transfers from one point to the other. After several months, I mastered the system so well that I went out one day, made 13 deliveries. It took about 14 hours, and back to the store on the same nickel I started out with.
The trolley is not fast, but there were things you could do in a trolley you couldn't do anywhere else. First of all, the trolleys were open, and they had, you could stand on the side. You could stand and hang out, get your head knocked off sometimes by the girders from the overhead. But it was still such a pleasure to be on an open trolley.
There were so many trolleys on crowded Brooklyn streets, pedestrians became artful dodgers. In fact, Brooklyn was full of dodgers long before the baseball team claimed the name. Brooklyn's diverse groups needed a unifying symbol. They found it in their Dodgers and developed an attachment so strong, it's hard to imagine these days. Brooklyn's patron saint of baseball, Charlie Ebbets, saved the Dodgers from moving to Baltimore. He built a quirky stadium right on Bedford Avenue. Ebbets Field became a shrine for the faithful.
Ebbets Field opened April 9th, 1913. First game at Ebbets Field, we lost 1-0 to the Philadelphia team. They won their first pennant in 1916, and they lost to the Boston Red Sox. And a young pitcher on that team, Babe Ruth, beat them in several games. The next pennant they won was in 1920, and they lost in 7 games. 5-2 was a 9-game series at that time to the Cleveland Indians.
What the Dodgers seemed to dodge best was success. But the worse they were, the deeper fan support seemed to grow. The team was sarcastically known as Dem Bums, but only inside the Brooklyn family.
When I was a kid, I didn't think the Dodgers lost all the time. I thought they won all the time. I couldn't understand why they called them bums. I thought they were unbelievable. I thought it was marvelous. The Dodgers was wonderful.
People cared about them far more than seemed reasonable. Kids, especially, came under their spell. They dreamed of becoming bums.
My father, who was the baseball fan of the family, brought me up to be a Yankee fan, and he bought me a Yankee uniform, and he sent me out to play with the other kids, and they threw me in the mud.
We cleared a lot out, literally. We played sandlot baseball, and we cleared out the rocks and the old cans and the garbage, and set up a diamond, measured it out, and we played baseball there with beat-up baseball at one of us had swiped from Ebbets Field. Later on, we then went to play ball in the organized leagues. We got older and a little better. Those of us who were better, we played ball in the parade grounds.
As easily as a diamond could be discovered in a vacant lot, all of Brooklyn could become a wonderland of rich diversions. Prospect Park offered a little taste of the country.
We used to be able to go to a riding academy that was right outside the park, which right around Coney Island Avenue, and we would rent horses, and you could ride through the park. You could ride all the way up Ocean Parkway on the bridle path to Coney Island.
If you knew how to ride, they'd let you take off on the horse, or somebody would go with you. I got a ticket once for galloping in Prospect Park. They pulled me over and actually gave me like a traffic ticket.
Prospect Park has a tremendous lake. We used to go there in the summertime. You could rent a boat and row around.
As the 30s came to a close, there was a feeling that the worst was over, that life in Brooklyn was good and getting better.
The seasons weren't just spring, summer, and fall, but there would be a ticket season to flip tickets. There'd be a marble season where we'd concentrate on now's the time for marbles. Then there's a time for tickets. There's a top season. We'll be playing with tops. Also a yo-yo season. The yo-yo season was also big because then we'd all have to get our equipment.
One of the fun things was going to the movies or the theater, and for a time we had vaudeville. And one of the best vaudeville houses in Brooklyn was the Flatbush Theater, which was on Flatbush near Church. And on this particular night, they had Louis Prima's band. Now, Louis Prima was a Brooklyn guy who was just coming into his prime. He was very dynamic, and he put on a great show. And it was just an exciting thing, and I was on a real high by the time the act was over, and then bang, the lights go out and the screen goes on. The first thing we see is this newsreel. And the newsreel focused on the Nazis, blitzkrieg, invading Belgium.
The war was indeed in the newsreels, on the radio, and in the newspapers. But to most young Brooklynites, it might as well have been worlds away, lifetimes away. If only that were true.
It was Brooklyn. We have lots of great people here, folks who had a part in making this production. The producers, Roman Brigadier and Brian Skeen, and our funders, our corporate funders from Independent Savings Bank and Forest City Ratner companies. And the most important person who had something to do with this program is not in the studio, because that person is you. It is your member dollars which made tonight possible, which make more of New York the way it was possible, because we're not finished. We have plenty more to do, plenty more to bring to you. And I have a very special friend here in the WLIW studio who's going to help us talk about the wonderful memories we have here tonight. A Brooklynite, no doubt.
Head to toe Brooklynite. Hey, listen, did you see the Daily News today? The Daily News gave this show that you're watching such fantastic reviews. Brooklyn easily recaptured the way it was. The New York Times, what could be better than Brooklyn? Congratulations, Channel 21. And you know, as soon as you told me, you called me a couple months ago.
I sure did.
Brucey, we're going to be doing a show in Brooklyn. Now, I'm a Brooklynite. I mean, head to toe.
As am I.
PS 206, James Madison High School, Brooklyn College for a few weeks, but we won't discuss that.
No, I don't think we
and
should.
Brooklyn, to me, is the most important part of my life growing up in Brooklyn.
It is.
And I took a camera crew to my neighborhood, to my public school, to Lundy's, and we're going to be showing that a little bit later.
We sure are.
Do you hear the music?
I hear that music. Those phones ringing is music to our ears, and I'm sure it's because everybody wants to take part in the opportunity to support WLIW and for us to be able to say thank you with this wonderful VHS tape, which we're going to get right out to everybody.
Also, you mentioned a secret word. It's called Brooklyn. B-K-L-Y-N. Brooklyn, right? And
Absolutely.
when you say Brooklyn, my sweet, the people in Brooklyn respond always. Always respond. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I'm a Brooklynite. So I came here tonight. These are my family members here at Channel 21. Public television needs your support. You know, it's an amazing thing. I'm going to give you a statistic that's going to knock you out. 1 in every 32 Americans have some connection with Brooklyn. Now, think about that for a moment. I probably mean 1 in every 30 Americans have something to do with Brooklyn. The phones are ringing. That's music to our ears. We have hours of wonderful, wonderful programming. I'm also going to show you my neighborhood in Brooklyn. I took our Channel 21 camera crew there to Brooklyn, and we went there. Now, all the things we do here at Channel 21, including this great show, New York the Way It Was, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and now Part 4, to me the most important part, because it's Brooklyn. Well, it takes a lot of money. We need your support. You're going to see what wonderful work they can do here at Channel 21 if you help them. Public television is public. You're part of the public. Let me walk back here. I want you to see, just widen out a little bit and see what's happening. What's going on now is that you are calling. These are our neighbors here. That's Masick. Hiya, Ian Masick. We're going to see him later. The Masicks. You're going to see so many people you know, so many wonderful people. Pick up that phone. It is so important now that we help support the great work at Channel 21. Public television, we are the public. We owe it to each other. They do great work here at Channel 21. I'm here all the time. Anytime they ask me to come here, Cousin Brucey's here all the time. I want you to help. If you are friends of mine, you're friends of CBS FM, if you came from Brooklyn, you have any connection to Brooklyn, hey, you know, can we say, come on, you gotta do it. Let's go to Ronnie and see what's cooking.
I have to tell you something. I'm very lucky because I got to watch this program 4 times, and that was through the magic of videotape because I wanted to see it before I came to talk to you about it tonight. Well, you can see it as well on this wonderful VHS of the program. It's our way of saying thank you to you for your $60 membership contribution on a credit card this evening. Not only does it have the entire show that you're going to see this evening, but it has an additional 30 minutes of program that you are sure to love and cherish forever. I guarantee it. And as a very special treat, if you would like, and if your budget can afford it, we have for a membership contribution of $250 an extremely important way to say thank you to you, and that's with the 4-set collection of the New York the Way It Was series, featuring the original New York the Way It Was, Part 2, The Old Neighborhood, Part 3, Wish You Were Here, which talks all about terrific vacations that you're sure to have had in those growing up years, and of course, the newest entry, Brooklyn. New York the Way It Was, Brooklyn. Probably the highlight of the series because you were born there, or you lived there, or you wished you lived there. Because everybody I speak to certainly says that to me, that Brooklyn has a very special meaning in their lives. Well, if it's got a special meaning in your life, now's the time to let us know with a membership contribution, because it's WLIW that brought Brooklyn to you via this wonderful program that you're seeing tonight and the New York the Way It Was series, which we have brought to you because you asked for it. It's the kind kind of programming that you can't find anywhere else, the kind of programming that you can only find on your public television station. And we don't sit back and rest on our laurels. We say to ourselves, this is what you want to see, so here it is. And now you can see it each and every day, and each and every time you think about the wonderful childhood memories you have by making a membership contribution of $60 on a credit card. It's our way of saying thank you, and it's a wonderful opportunity for us to send this tape on out to you and to help you to enjoy these memories for many years to come. For a membership contribution of $250, once again, we will send you the entire set of the New York the Way It Was series, including the original, the second one, The Old Neighborhood, Part 3, Wish You Were Here, which talks all about vacations, and a very special segment on Coney Island and the Catskills, and of course Part 4, the newest entry in our series, which you're viewing this evening, Brooklyn. Now, in the newest entry to our series, the Brooklyn segment, we have some additional segments that you're not going to see in the show tonight, but you can have on your shelf as part of your VHS library. Segments that include The Rockaways, an interview with Jerry Stiller, Junior's Cheesecake. Who doesn't know Junior's Cheesecake? You can't have grown up in Brooklyn and not know Junior's Cheesecake. Buddy Hackett, an interview, Nathan's. Of course, you'll see a part in here where Buddy Hackett is actually inhaling those hot dogs, as I'm sure you've done many times. Lots more that you won't see here on the show tonight, but that you'll want to have as part of your library with a membership contribution of $60. We'd be delighted to send the tape out to you. Put it on a credit card. We'll guarantee it for holiday delivery. And might I suggest that this is a perfect opportunity to give a gift membership, because if you have a very special member of your family, like my mother-in-law, who moved to Florida and did grow up in Brooklyn, well, I'd like to send a tape to her, and perhaps you'd like to do that for the holidays as well. Speak to our operators. They'll assist you in any way they can. The most important thing is that you do call and show your support for the station that is bringing you this quality program, the program, quite frankly, that you asked for. Because as we completed Part 3, the first words we heard were, "Where is Brooklyn?" Well, here it is tonight. Enjoy it as a member.
I got a nice note here. My cousin Margaret Miller of Brooklyn, New York just called in, and Margaret made a nice pledge of $60, and we appreciate that. Oh, listen, I got some great news. Anything from $40 up, the nice people at Time Magazine, ladies and gentlemen, gave WLIW Television a whole bunch of subscriptions. So as a little added extra, a little added value, a little bonus for you, Time Magazine is going to give you a free subscription. We're going to give it to you here from Channel 21. So for $40 up, 40 to 40 million, you get yourself as an added. You'll get what we also tell you're going to get, but you'll also get Time Magazine. So we want to thank the nice people, the publishers and the editors of Time Magazine. Well, what is it like to be a sponsor? You're watching something really wonderful, and this Brooklyn show is going to go on, and you're going to see, by the way, some footage that has never been seen ever. Like we saw on the Beatle, on the ABC television thing, some new Beatles stuff. Well, on this show tonight about Brooklyn, you're going to see some brand new footage that you've never seen, including some Ebbets Field stuff. And I think I saw some with my home the other day. I watched a preview with Jackie Robinson. People like yourself sent in a lot of their own footage. It's wonderful. This is what makes this Brooklyn so wonderful. We have such a feeling for each other. Now, if you are part of Brooklyn, have ever been a part of Brooklyn, the phones are ringing. If you get a busy signal, which you might, please do not hang up. Keep trying. When you do that, being a sponsor. Now, sponsors are small sponsors, people that send in $40, people that send in $60, $5. If you use your credit card, by the way, the Time Magazine, I just remembered, it's $40, or any credit card pledge will receive Time Magazine. So you can be a sponsor for $40, or you can be a sponsor for a lot of money. We need everybody. Please do not feel that you're not having enough, you don't have enough money to be a sponsor. We really want it. I want to show you somebody who really cares about Channel 21. If you watch this, and then we'll carry on with more Brooklyn stuff.
Hi, tonight you're going to watch a documentary called New York, the Way It Was, Brooklyn. I hope it'll make you laugh, perhaps cry a little, but I hope you'll appreciate the magic that was and still is this great borough, Brooklyn. I'm Charlie Ham, President and CEO of the Independent Savings Bank and one of tonight's sponsors. We believe in magic, but we also know magic isn't enough. We are a sponsor, but sponsors aren't enough. It takes membership. It takes you out there to belong and want to belong and help support WLIW in this great programming. So pick up the phone now. Call WLIW, become a member. Do it for Brooklyn. Do it now. Thanks.
Just a couple of weeks ago, Charlie Ham of Independent Savings Bank and Bruce Ratner of Forest City Ratner Companies were kind enough to host a premiere party for Brooklyn, and we were delighted to meet, well, a whole group of Brooklynites, and each and every one of them had a story to tell, and it was wonderful to hear those stories, many of which you'll see this evening in this wonderful program, New York the Way It Was, Brooklyn. And we'd like very much for you to own this VHS of the program by becoming a member of WLIW, because then you truly own a part of the programming right here at this public television station. With your membership contribution of $60 on a credit card, we will promise to get this to you in time for the holiday season. It's a wonderful program, as you'll see tonight, and it has in it very many excerpts that you're not going to see tonight. Parts of the program that we included in the VHS, and we'd like to send out to you as a very special thank you for your membership contribution tonight. If you'd prefer, and $250 fits comfortably into your budget, we have a wonderful opportunity to share with you the entire 4-set collection of the New York the Way It Was series. It includes the original, the first program, New York the Way It Was, Part 2, The Old Neighborhood, Part 3, Wish You Were Here, and Part 4, the program you're watching tonight, Brooklyn. What a wonderful opportunity for you to share these terrific memories with the members of your family, perhaps your children and grandchildren who sit across from you at the dining room table. Listen to all the great stories about playing handball against the building or playing hit the penny and getting double points if you manage to turn it over on the crack, and they don't know what you're talking about. Well, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So become a member tonight and share the memories with your family. Call now.
I am holding treasures right now, a treasure in my hand. And for a $100 pledge, this treasure can be yours. $100. Ladies and gentlemen, this is called Brooklyn the Way It Was, and this was put together for us here at Channel 21. I want you to meet the author, Brian Merlis. My cousin Brian is an expert, an exploit on Brooklyn, New York, and you've written other books, Brian.
Yes, I have. This is my second book. My first book was called Welcome Back to Brooklyn. Came out 2 years ago, and the response was so overwhelming, figured I'd try another one.
Brooklyn the Way It Was, Brooklyn the Way It Is. What is this magic about Brooklyn that makes people like yourself and myself, we can meet anywhere in the world and we say, Brooklyn, where'd you come from?
It's so hard to put a finger on it, but to us it's home, you know, that's us, you know, it's in our blood. It's a whole life in a way. We never get rid of it. It's a love-hate relationship, and it's just that thing
You know,
about
there's
Brooklyn.
a word called family, and that's what we have. I can meet you anywhere in the world, and we're family. I know you're from Brooklyn. Brooklyn the Way It Was is available yet in stores?
Not really, you know, it's not really in the stores.
But it'll be here.
It's going to be here for people who join Channel 21.
Wait till you see what I'm talking about. Channel 21 join, $100 pledge here will get you the Brooklyn the Way It Was. This kind of book must take years and years of research. And all the photographs, where'd you get all these pictures?
It's all over the world. These pictures are scattered everywhere, from France. Postcards were mailed overseas during the wars, during the early part of the century. Photographs were taken by regular people, by professionals, and it's my job, my quest, to find these photographs and bring them back to this area.
All right, let me give you the book for a moment. First of all, I see my high school. I don't know if we can get this, but here's James Madison High.
On the teleprompter.
James Madison. One is James Madison.
All right.
All right, let's see. We'll get that in a minute.
Okay.
We'll get this right up here. James Madison High School. If I hold it like this, maybe we'll get a shot of my school. There we go. That's James Madison High. I just thumbed through the book, and I'm sure your school's in there, too. Let me hand you the book.
Sure.
And your favorite picture and why? What is the favorite part of the book? It's all alphabetized, by the way.
All the different neighborhoods are here.
There's got to be something that you love the most.
I happen to love the cover picture. Just
Why?
the fact that it has a trolley in it, which is emblematic of Brooklyn's transportation, the people, the elevated train, the 3-story and 4-story buildings with stores downstairs. It's just beautiful.
Let me hold this up so they can get I want them to see what you're talking about here. The trolley, which had an electrical stick up there, and we'll get that in a minute. And the L, because there are a lot of people watching now that do not understand what an L is or what a trolley is and things like that, all right? So let's just take a look. Now, what is a trolley? Describe a trolley to, there might be some young people like 17 or younger that say, what is a trolley?
Well, before they had the buses in Brooklyn, they had these trolleys that ran on rails. And it was a big conspiracy by the bus companies to get rid of the trolleys. And trolleys are cleaner, more efficient, and in a way quieter and healthier than the present buses we have. There's a movement to bring them back all over New York.
There is?
Still
now, I remember
today.
the trolley used to cost a nickel. If we brought him back today, it would be what, $1.35?
Oh, probably at least that, and you'll have a whole protest and lawsuit again also.
Well, I'll tell you, looking at these pictures just brings back so many memories. Now, Lundy's, we talk about Little Lundy's. Lundy's is going to be featured. Lundy's is opening again. Now, to a Brooklynite like yourself and myself, the opening of Lundy's is like opening Versailles.
Yeah.
It's opening a palace. Lundy's is opening again. Now, tell us a little story about Lundy's. What'd you find out about them?
Well, Lundy's originally was across the street, and actually there's a picture of it. The viewers are seeing it right now, and when they closed down because Sheepshead Bay had to be cleaned up, the help actually moved the silverware across the street, and they stayed in business, opened up that very next day at the present building, which is reopening December 6th officially to the public.
That's right, December 5th, which I'm going to talk about later.
Right.
It's going to be the grand opening that
Big
I'm going to
gala.
host, and I'm sure you're going to be there.
I'd love to be
and
there.
all I want to talk about
You
later
got a ticket for me for the invitation?
Well, I can talk to you about it if I get an autographed copy of this, because I want this.
Okay,
I
we'll
want
work
this
it
very
out.
badly.
We'll work it out.
Listen,
deal.
ladies and gentlemen, Brooklyn the Way It Was is available here. It's not available in stores yet. It will be eventually,
Soon.
I'm sure. It is a magnificent collection, and all I can tell you, it's available here for a $100 pledge to keep this great television station doing their record-breaking things.
Great.
It's getting wonderful, wonderful reviews. And New York, the way it was, Brooklyn Part 4 is
Great
happening.
show.
You have done a wonderful, an encyclopedic job at this, such a word. And
I'm flattered,
just,
cousin.
I love this. No, this is, you know, I'm a Brooklynite. I'm looking at my schools.
It
here. I'm
touches
looking
a
at my
nerve with
neighborhood.
us, you know, it really
There's
does.
something so magic about Brooklyn. And of course, as the night continues, people out there who do not come from Brooklyn will understand why.
They'll even like it. Even people out of town, they love the pictures, the old stuff.
Brooklyn is fiber. Brooklyn is the fiber of this nation.
Flesh and blood.
It really is. Brian, I thank
All
you
right,
so
Gus,
much.
my pleasure.
Brian Merlis, the author, the curator, the archivist, right,
Yes.
of Brooklyn the Way It Was, available right now, ladies and gentlemen, here, only on Channel 21. $100 pledge, we'll get it for you. We'll take credit cards. We'll take anything. And the reason I even say anything is because I really want this great television station, this public television station, to continue doing what they're doing. Shows like Brooklyn. Isn't that great? Maybe you people in the Bronx would like a show, too, or Queens. It could happen. All it takes is a little bit of money. And Brian Merlis, maybe he'll do
I can do a book on it.
Bronx the Way It Was. Or
Any
Bronx the Way It
borough.
Is, this type of thing.
That's it.
All right, I'm going to go back to Ronnie right now. I think Ronnie is all set, right? Ronnie's all set. And then we'll come back with more Cousin Brucey. Brian Merlis is our guest here. Brooklyn the Way It Was. Call Brooklyn. Come on, let's hear from you.
We just had a call right here at WLIW from my cousin Arthur, and he certainly has something to be appreciative for because he married my cousin Ronnie, who of course grew up in Sheepshead Bay. And I have lots of fond memories of spending time with her and Sheila during my growing up years. And I even went to visit Sheepshead Bay with Cousin Brucey a few weeks ago, and you're going to see a little bit of that later. But right now, what you're going to see is an opportunity to become a member of the public television station, which brings you programs like New York the Way It Was, Brooklyn. The public television station that responds to you, and we have wonderful ways to say thank you for your generous support this evening. By becoming a member at the $60 membership level on a credit card, we would be delighted to send you the VHS of the program you're watching this evening, New York the Way It Was, Brooklyn. It's our way of showing our appreciation to you, and it includes another 30 minutes of those treasured memories from Brooklyn, including interviews with Rudy Giuliani, Robert Merrill, Eli Wallach, Grandpa Al Lewis from the Munsters, and Oscar Brand, along with some great vignettes from Nathan's and Coney Island and Junior's Cheesecake. What else? Our way of saying thank you for your generous contribution of $60 on a credit card. We'll get it to you in time for the holiday season. Or if you prefer, and $250 fits comfortably into your budget, we'd be proud to send you the entire New York series, including all 4 episodes thus far in the series. Part 1, the original. Part 2, the old neighborhood. Part 3, New York the Way It Was, Wish You Were Here, featuring a segment on Coney Island. And the brand new New York the Way It Was, Brooklyn. What a wonderful set. Think of how you can divide it up, perhaps, and send it to very important people in your family if they happen to have moved away and you'd like to share the memories with them because they may not be in the WLIW viewing area. Remember, this program was produced for you by the current members of WLIW. Last year, they made a commitment to this station, and their investment was well worth it because tonight we have New York the Way It Was, Brooklyn, a program especially for you. Now it's your opportunity to make an investment as well and to enable us to go forward and create more New York the Way It Was. Perhaps you'd like to see a segment on the Bronx. My folks are here this evening, and they had a subway courtship. My mom was from the Bronx, my dad was from Brooklyn. They married, and guess what? They moved to Brooklyn. Was there any doubt? Not at all. And we're glad that you're here this evening joining us as part of the WLIW family. And I'd like to thank some folks who have already joined this evening. Pearl Schoenberg from Yonkers, and Myrna Diego from Roslyn, and James Barillo from New York City. They probably were born in Brooklyn or lived in Brooklyn, or who have some deep-seated memories, and treasured ones at that, from Brooklyn. You too can share in the memories by becoming a member of your public television station and supporting us here this evening. Call right now.
1995, a season of change and a lifetime of tradition. A time to expand the frontiers of our minds and test the limits of our spirit. The wisdom of the ages and the bright promise of youth. See it all on PBS.
So you say you want some more. You're saying, come on, let's get back to your favorite borough, Cousin Brucey. Let's get back to Brooklyn. Tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to have operators standing by right now, I should say sitting by, while Brooklyn is going on. Now, Brooklyn people, you know we can do more than, we got attitude, you know what I mean? Like New Yorkers, but we got the attitude. So when we are watching Brooklyn right now, Brooklyn on Channel 21, please continue calling us. Now, what's happening? We got a real Brooklyn Dodger coming up. We got outtakes of stuff that did not make the tape, which are very funny. We're going to show those things, too. I'm going to take a camera crew by Digital Express to my neighborhood, East 26th Street in Brooklyn, and show you what's going on in my school and my block. And ladies and gentlemen, enjoy yourselves. Call us right now, because here comes some more Brooklyn. Like we say in Brooklyn, hey, hang around. We'll see you in a couple moments, okay? My name is Cousin Brucey. I'm from Brooklyn.
Coney Island was our carnival, it was our amusement center, it was cheap. You'd go there for 10 cents on a train, spend all day on the beach.
The poor man's Riviera. There was a playground for the poor. I mean, who could go to Monte Carlo? Who could go to Virginia Beach?
Early on, when I was really young, they used to have these parades in Coney Island, and my grandmother used to take us to these things, and it was really special for us.
Coney Island allowed you to bend the rules. It was a way to let go, a way to let loose, and it was marvelous.
Coney Island was another world. Freak shows. I went to freak shows. The bearded woman, the thinnest man in the world, the greatest contortionist, magicians, sword swallowers, fire eaters. This was a new world for me.
Annie, the alligator girl, Georgia Peach twins, you know, the fat lady, you know, Indian rubber man, Popeye, the guy who used to pop his eye, was a friend of mine.
If we do have UFOs, if we do have space aliens coming from other planets, and we wonder, why do they make contact? They just come to smell them hot dogs. That's their whole reason to be here. They get that smell from Nathan's on Stewart Avenue. And my doctor says my cholesterol is 240. I know the only thing that'll bring it down is a hot dog from Nathan's.
Buying a hot dog at Nathan's for 7 cents was the thing. And the boardwalk, picking up young ladies. I played a banjo and imitated Bing Crosby. When the blue of the night leaves the go, and I would get the girls. Now, the girls, we'd get the girls, and they'd run off with my friends, and I was left alone with my, my banjo.
Summers in Brooklyn were brutally hot. Coney Island offered the surf and the sea breeze, relief within everybody's budget.
I could never get used to the beach because we didn't have money to buy a locker. So we always underdressed with a bathing suit. And we'd go out on the beach, take our clothes off surreptitiously, and then go in the water. coming out, I always used to hate riding back on the subway to my home because my crotch was full of sand all the time. I hated that.
At day's end, the train or trolley brought Brooklynites home to those sweltering apartments. People stayed outside and talked to their neighbors, sat around on the stoop, or went up on the roof to keep cool. The sounds of kids playing in the streets echoed everywhere. In neighborhood bars and restaurants, Brooklynites drank locally brewed drafts, Rheingold, Peels, and Schaefer. People chatted about what local girl might win the honor of becoming Miss Rheingold or Miss Subway. A favorite evening ritual was reading the Brooklyn Eagle, the largest hometown paper in America. It gave neighborhoods reasons to be proud and united them in the larger glory of Brooklyn. The Eagle told readers what movies were playing, where to get the best deals on appliances, and how the bums managed to blow another ball game. At Ebbets, you were sure to get your money's worth, no matter who won the game. If it wasn't happening on the field, it was happening in the stands.
I worked Ebbetsfield, and in the summertime, ice cream is a big seller. I used to say, "You, get your ice cream, Pop. Here, I'll give your tongue a sleigh ride." And people used to laugh, and I'd sell the ice cream. I remember the Dodgers Symphony, and the lady with the cowbell, Hilda Chester, and my favorite umpire, Al Barlick. You'd sit in section 16, all the way in left field in the bleachers. And when he said, "Strike three!" boy, everybody knew it.
If you play for DeRocher, you've got to have pepper and plenty of moxie.
How's that? Did you get that? It was a dandy if it had stuck in your glove. Talk about your sieve infield. I got one here.
After decades of failure, Dodger management finally built a team that could win.
Pete Reeser will be out on the field pulling him down, along with Dixie Walker, busy now divulging the secret of his success. Yes, sir, them bums is big news.
The 1941 Brooklyn Dodger pennant race, it was against the St. Louis Cardinals, and it was very exciting. Went down to the last minute, and we had a terrific team. With Camilli being the MVP and Reeser winning the batting championship, and Babe Herman hitting balls into right field, and Medwick hitting shots, and Dixie Walker playing right field, and we won the pennant, I think, by 2.5, 3 games.
The Subway Series was like Civil War, because in our neighborhood there were Yankee fans and there were Dodger fans.
The Yankees won the first 2 games of the 1941 World Series at the stadium. The Dodgers came back to take Game 3 at friendly Ebbets. Then it happened.
The Dodgers were winning 4-3 in Game 4. There were 2 out and 2 strikes on the hitter Tommy Hendrick. And pitcher Hugh Casey threw either a spitter or a wicked curve into the dirt. That was strike 3. Hendrick swung and then realized that the ball was at the backstop. He ran to first. And in a few minutes of thunder, the Yankees, DiMaggio, Keller, Gordon, Dickey, all got base hits, and the Dodgers were defeated 7-4.
Same old bums after all, still remarkable for their ability to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Later, in autumn of '41, Brooklynites gathered for another intercity grudge match. This time, between the New York Giants and Brooklyn Dodger football teams.
I'd never seen a big league football game, and my father promised he would take me, so as it happened, I got the measles. I mean, I really got the measles and I was out. There was no way I was going to the game. So I stayed home, and it was a very crisp, cold afternoon, and I was listening to the game on the radio. It was a very exciting game.
All of a sudden, an announcement came out that the Japanese had bombed Pearl Harbor. We couldn't believe it. We were stunned. If I recall correctly, they would go back to the game, and then they'd come back. And before you know it, there wasn't more game on. Radio was all news flashes and reports.
I remember the panic. They thought that the Japanese were landing in Coney Island. And I remember my mother, who wasn't a drinker, but going to a bottle of whiskey, Old Overhaul, great name, and putting it up to her lips and drinking it. She was so scared.
There were also rumors about German submarines off Coney Island. And of course, we couldn't go swimming if there were German submarines. We'd bump into them, maybe even sink a couple.
What they did in World War II, they put up a gigantic net from Staten Island to Brooklyn to catch any subs that were coming in.
There was a tremendous amount of propaganda, too, at the time that had us all crazy. I mean, the great mantra of the war was loose lips, sink ships. And this was everywhere. And my father worked in a war plant in Bush Terminal during the war at night. So he was particularly sensitive to it, as were the rest of us. You know, the saboteur was a figure lurking around in the shadows somewhere in our imaginations.
Apart from the knowledge that, you know, the war was a terrible, terrible thing, the ambiance of Brooklyn was fantastic. First of all, the spirit. I mean, if there were warring factions among Jews and Gentiles, among Irish and Italian and Poles and God knows what, they disappeared. I mean, it was like everything came together. Everybody was fighting for the cause.
By the tens of thousands, Brooklyn's young men enlisted, kissed their girls, had a last beer at the corner bar, waved a final goodbye to the neighbors, and went off to war.
I remember my brother was drafted. He went to Fort Dix, and I was his older sister, very protective. And I took the bus to Fort Dix. I was determined to save my brother and went to the barracks. I found where his barracks was, and I was outraged. I said, they don't have any doors between the toilets. I mean, this is outrageous, and went back to this leatherneck sergeant and registered my complaint. And let me tell you.
I had a friend named Bernie, and when I knew him, he was just a young, you know, he was nice and everything. And one day he came over and he said, I got my notice, I have to report. And he says, you promise you're gonna write to me and everything? Oh, that was the first time I wrote to a serviceman. I didn't know what to write. It was such a new and exciting thing. I told him about the changing of the leaves. I told him what I ate. I told him how we missed him. I told him how things are, you know, in the street, and that I rode my bicycle. I didn't know what. And then lo and behold, the second one I wrote to was Pete. Pete was a Marine. And then gradually you started, it was kind of awkward. You met more and more people, men going into the service. And it escalated. And with the escalation, I grew older and more understanding of what it was all about.
Everybody in Brooklyn was working to help win the war. Patriotism was simply a more intense expression of loyalty as far as Brooklynites were concerned.
During the war, the women were able to replace a lot of the men. The women were driving garbage trucks to pick up the garbage. They were driving buses and trolley cars. They worked as riveters. They worked in the Navy Yard.
At the height of the war, 70,000 people worked tirelessly at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. 6,000 of them were women. A typical silent heroine was Alberta Day, who had one day off every 3 weeks. The facility, known as the Can-Do Yard, ran 24 hours a day, building everything from LSTs to aircraft carriers. The work was extremely hazardous. For every great ship launched, more than a dozen workers perished in job site accidents, uncounted casualties of war.
We would hear things about ships being made and sailing out of the Brooklyn Navy Yard. And we would stand up very proudly because this was Brooklyn Navy Yard, and we were making a great effort to win the war.
I'll never forget the first time they decided that perhaps we could be bombed. And they put the air raid sirens on. I lived near Church Avenue, and believe it or not, I slept through the first air raid siren.
Wake up, Miss America. Wake up, Mrs. America. Friendly planes may not always cast their moving shadow on you, but planes loaded with evil men and death. It still can happen here.
When the air raid siren would come on, you were supposed to immediately make sure that no light was escaping from your premises.
I remember that. The older people who volunteered with the hats, put the light out, put that light out.
The war itself in Brooklyn was a very strange, peculiar time because most of the men were gone. So there were women everywhere and kids that had been left behind.
During the war, the schools and the churches worked together. We had what you call a victory garden. And I was in the 5th grade. And St. Francis was right across from PS 23, you know. And every day we'd take a walk down to a victory garden, which was on the church grounds. And they taught us to grow food for ourselves. The milk, the butter, the cheese, and other foods of that type were rationed, and you only could buy a certain amount each day. We did what we had to do to support the war.
We've had dozens of letters from Brooklyn boys, Navy and Army. All of them are convinced that by request would give them and the rest of the men in the service the biggest break of the war if we just show some shots of their very special hometown.
Okay, Mac, here we go. A quick tour of Brooklyn, beginning with the famous bridge, looking at it from Lower Manhattan. Then into the downtown district. Several requests came in for this shot of Fulton Street, so here it is. This shot of Henry Street is for Vincent Florenciano, somewhere in France. Corporal John Meyer, out of the States now for over 2 years, reminds us that Brooklyn is sometimes called the city of churches. Asks to see St. Teresa's, his parish church. Says it'd give him and 2,500 other Teresians in the service a lot of pleasure. And here's a shot of Shore Road for Sergeant Lester Rodney. Several others who wrote in saying a glimpse of it and the bay would help take care of that homesick feeling.
When it came to supporting their guys in the service, Brooklyn gals always rose to the occasion.
I had 2 friends that we used to go down. We volunteered to dance with the fellas at the USO, and there were strict rules. You could dance with them, you could talk to them because some of them were away from home and they were very lonesome, but you could not date them.
They would tell you that they're from Brooklyn, in a different part of Brooklyn or something. And occasionally you get somebody from Idaho, or you get somebody from, you know, a different part of the country. And they were wonderful too. I mean, not as wonderful as Brooklynites, but also wonderful.
News of our fighting men came home on the pages of the Eagle. To keep morale high, victories were splashed on the front page. Casualties were more discreetly placed. By the summer of '45, thousands of Brooklyn windows were flecked with gold.
These people who were young people, 18 and 19 or 20, they weren't going to leave their home until they got married and only to move upstairs. People didn't leave, and to have them pass away, to die at that stage, at that young, was the ultimate tragedy. And those who lived, you know, came back with this, they never were the same.
Just the other night, my folks were sharing stories with my daughters about the time they spent in Brooklyn. The fact that my dad came home on leave and asked my mom to marry him, and she said no. And he said, either you marry me now or it's over. I'm kind of glad she decided to marry him. And I'm kind of glad that I'm here with you tonight at WLIW watching New York the Way It Was, Brooklyn. A wonderful entry into the series of the New York the Way It Was series, originated here at WLIW, produced by WLIW, by the members of WLIW. Why can I say that? Because it's your member dollars that make it happen. The reason this program is on this evening is because you have made it possible. Your friends and neighbors who pledged last year are responsible for the fact that we have this wonderful show here tonight, and your dollars this evening will enable us to go forward and make more programs in the New York series. And we'd like to share this wonderful program with you for many years to come by sending you this terrific VHS of New York the Way It Was, Brooklyn, right to you in time for the holidays for a $75 membership contribution or $60 on a credit card. If you put it on a credit card, we'll get it right out to you in time for the holidays and make sure that you have lots of opportunities to enjoy the memories from Brooklyn with your family. And I'd like to share a couple of those memories right now with a very special friend of WLIW, somebody who always comes home
Keep answering the
to
phones.
WLIW and to Brooklyn, my good friend, Cousin Bruce Morrow.
The bells are ringing for Brooklyn. Listen, real quickly,
sure.
Jay Rosenblum. I mean, we're getting calls you wouldn't believe. Jay Rosenblum, New York City, $60. Asked, do I remember Mr. Dresner, principal of PS 206?
Of course you remember him.
His name was Robert Dresner. He had me in his office. He was my principal.
He remembers you
taught
well.
me how to, because he called me in his office because I didn't know how to spell sincerely. I never forgot how to spell sincerely.
I hope
Don't
not.
ask me now. And Ira Friedman, New York City Hospital Police, getting better. Got married in June. Hopes to see you again. Ira, join us, will you? And Joyce Zerlip. Joyce was of East Meadow, New York, was my son John's kindergarten teacher.
Isn't
My
that
son John
wonderful?
now is a doctor.
Have you ever met anybody who doesn't have some memory of Brooklyn, or who wasn't
Absolutely.
born there, or
Absolutely
came
not.
from there, or had a family member there?
Somebody, I'm telling you, every one out of every 30 or thereabouts has some connection with Brooklyn. That's what we're doing today. Oh, by the way, the nice people at Time Magazine gave us a whole bunch of subscriptions. So when you donate by credit card, $40 or more, up to
right.
40,000 or whatever it is,
Absolutely.
starting at 40, you get a free subscription to Time Magazine. And this is a fine magazine. It really has the whole thing there, and it's easy to read. By the way, do you know who's behind you? Just step a little bit over here. I want everyone to see. Look over here. Okay.
Good
Who
friend.
this is? Look up at the camera. This is Ian Masick. Yeah, Town and Country. We'll talk to him a little bit. I mean, if you grew up in Brooklyn, you had a few things. You had your mom and dad, you had your
Yes.
church, you had Nathan's,
And
you had
Grandma.
and you had Lundy's, and you had your bakery. That's what it was.
Absolutely.
Brooklyn is a place, it's fabric. It is a wonderful place. It is the backdrop of life, and that's what we're celebrating today. And I'll tell you, there's so much excitement in this room. I have never, all the years I've been here, I have never heard bells ringing like this.
It's phenomenal.
We're all connected, my friends. Even if you're not part of Brooklyn, you're part of Brooklyn tonight automatically. So please, cuz, give us a buzz. Incidentally, I showed you this book before. We just interviewed the author, Brian Merlis. This is not available anyplace now except here on Channel 21. So give us a buzz, and for a $100 pledge, this booklet, this magnificent archive, this research document is yours. And I'll see, you will see things that you have not seen in a long time. Borough Hall, 1935. Borough Hall, 1935. I'm just going through this book here. There are so many wonderful memories. And like I just said, even if you're not a Brooklynite, tonight you are. You're going to see some terrific things. And we're going to meet we have a real Brooklyn Dodger here who had something to do with Babe Ruth's last game. And I heard a little rumor about this, and we'll talk about the Brooklyn Dodgers Hall of Fame, which of course is in Brooklyn, New York. I never call the LA Dodgers the LA Dodgers. It's not in my vocabulary. They're still Brooklyn Dodgers. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let us here at Channel 21 continue the great work of public broadcasting the way it's meant to be. It is our responsibility as citizens of this great area, to support this great work. New York the Way It Was? Well, part 1, 2, 3, you saw them all, and you're seeing part 4 tonight. This will be seen all over the world, we hope. And by the way, you can have your own copy on VHS, and I happen to have something here in my little, you see what it says? I don't know if you can see this, but this is how we spell it. It's called Secret. Secret. That's how you spell secret there. And in this particular secret thing is a document that tells me, and I'll read it to you later, if you get a hold of this VHS, which is a $60 pledge, there are things that you will not see. They're outtakes and things that are not included in tonight's performance. Good things about the Rockaways. Jerry Stiller. Wait till you hear what this guy says. Junior's Cheesecake. Now, if you were like I was, we used to go to the Fox or the Brooklyn Paramount, right? Down in DeKalb Avenue, downtown Brooklyn. And after that, we take our date out to Junior's and have the biggest, most delicious piece of cheesecake, which is still, by the way, big and delicious right now. Brooklyn is there, it's revitalized, and it's happening. Brooklyn is a very living entity, and we want you to be part of it. Coming up in a few moments, your cousin Brucey takes you back to my neighborhood. Stand by.
If you're a typical American family, you could spend as much as 32 hours a week in front of that TV. Now, that could be 32 hours of violence. Music. Mayhem. Or worse. Or it could be 32 hours of some of the finest programming ever presented, like our nature programming. If we are what we watch, shouldn't you be watching the great shows here on WLIW, Channel 21?
The phone activity in the WLIW studios this evening is wonderful, and we don't want to miss a single call because your call is especially important to us. So if you got a busy signal, please do try again or hang on because your call will be answered by the next available operator on either of the numbers that you see at the bottom of your screen. The important thing is that you do call this evening and show your support to WLIW, this station, the only station that is bringing you Brooklyn, a wonderful entry into the New York the Way It Was series. And let us say a very special thank you for your support this evening with a very special bonus gift for you. For your membership contribution of $60 on a credit card, we'd be delighted to send to you in time for the holidays the tape of New York the Way It Was, Brooklyn. It is guaranteed to bring you many, many hours of wonderful enjoyment and treasured memories because I know you're going to watch it over and over again. And not only will you see the great segments that you're seeing this evening here on WLIW, but you'll see 30 additional minutes of program, including an interview with Rudy Giuliani about how Ebbets Field itself was intimidating to other teams, and an interview with Al Lewis, Grandpa Munster, of course, and he tells you a little bit about his ice cream suit and a Two Guys from New York joke. I can't wait to hear that one, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it as well when you become a proud member of WLIW. If you prefer and $250 fits comfortably into your budget, we invite you to join us at that membership level so that we may say a very special thank you to you with the entire series of New York the Way It Was tapes. That's a 4-set collection because thus far there are 4 wonderful programs in this series, beginning with the original New York the Way It Was, Part 2, The Old Neighborhood, Part 3, Wish You Were Here, with a couple of exciting segments about vacation times to the Catskills and the hours you spent at Coney Island, and of course New York the Way It Was, Brooklyn. Now I have to admit right here and now that my absolute favorite ride at Coney Island, which my grandmother took me to on a regular basis, was the Caterpillar. Now you might think that's a little meek and mild, but it was my favorite ride. I didn't have to worry too much about it. The only thing you have to worry about tonight is how you can become a part of the WLIW family, and it's simply easy. You dial the number on the bottom of your screen, either one, and you give our operators a little bit of information, your name, your address, and of course the amount of your pledge. And while we encourage you to be as generous as you can, certainly any amount is welcome here tonight. And if you come from Brooklyn, if you would like to have come from Brooklyn, if you know anybody who ever came from Brooklyn, this is the opportunity to show your support to the station that brings it to you, WLIW. Call right now.
All right, I have some trivia now. Baseball fans stand by, sports people. First of all, this guy was born in Brooklyn. He has one of the most famous names in baseball history. 302, 302 lifetime batting average, 37-game consecutive hitting streak, league leader in home runs before Kiner arrived at the National League, winning hit off Bob Feller, first game of 48. And here's the best thing I think about him. Listen to this. He was the batting coach and minor league manager for the Brooklyn Dodgers until 58. He didn't want to go because they went to California. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm talking about? Tommy Holmes.
Hi.
Hiya, Tommy. Welcome to 21. Welcome to this. I am so thrilled to see you. I mean, I know a few names. I know Jackie Robinson. I know Babe Ruth. I know Joe DiMaggio. I know Tommy Holmes.
Well, now you have them all.
I thank you so much for being here. Now, this gentleman over here, I want you to meet this guy here because I met him when this place opened. Being a Brooklynite, I'm very proud that we have the Brooklyn Dodgers Hall of Fame downtown. This is Marty Adler, who's the president of the Brooklyn Dodgers Hall of Fame. And thank you so much for curating, archiving, and keeping this alive. I almost said memory, but that's not a memory. What is so unique about the Dodgers? Why are we still talking about the Brooklyn Dodgers today?
Well, 3 reasons: the fans, the stadium itself, and the players. The players were consistent, they were competent, and they were colorful. You had some great characters among the Dodger players throughout the years. Babe Herman, Dixie Walker, DeRocha, Jackie, Pee Wee, Gil, a whole bunch of them.
I've been seeing a lot of these guys in this Brooklyn Brooklyn documentary today here in 21.
And they were certainly competent. Had they won 17 more games between 1946 and 57, they would have won the pennant each and every year. So they were pretty good.
But yet, what were they called? The Bums. They had hard luck for a long time.
The reason for that
How
came
come
out.
they never really, just, always right on the edge and nothing happened?
Well, this is part of the mystique of the Brooklyn Dodgers. We were just almost there. Would you agree, Tommy?
That's
We
right.
needed that one little hurdle to get over. And then we would have dominated the other league as well as our own league.
Tommy Holmes, everybody's got to be looking at you right now, and you're bringing back such lifetime images and such warmth to the things you did. You've had so many records. Player, manager, Boston Braves, lifetime batting average of .302, like I said. The greatest memory. What was the most exciting part of your career?
Oh, I would say when I broke Roger Hornsby's record when I hit in 37 consecutive games. Because that day, it was a hurricane. And Frankie Fish, we were playing a doubleheader. He throws 2 lefties at me. And in the interim, we had an hour and 40-minute break because the tarpaulin that was on the field was up on top of the grandstand. And the umpire later said, play ball. I could have lost the record, but however, I got the hit to a preacher row that broke Roger Hornsby's record.
Do you have dreams? Like, do you have a field of dreams? You go to bed once in a while and see things, reenact the thing, and you feel yourself sliding home or something?
Once a month. I'm playing. I can't find my uniform. I can't find my shoes. I don't know where I am.
What happened to them?
I
They're
don't
probably
know.
in the Hall of Fame. Now,
Could be.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
This is a legendary thing, and it's a myth, and I want to know the truth. You and Babe Ruth, now, it's the last game, one of the last games that Ruth played. Something happens. He pops out. Something happens with you, and you did something very strange. If you mind, with all due respect, what'd you do?
I don't know how you found out, but we're playing a game for leukemia in 1947 at Fenway Park. And I'm in the same clubhouse with the Babe. Oh, my God, all of us were just thrilled to death. And I'm in right field, and Tony Cuccinello is at second base, and the Babe comes out of the dugout just about making it. He
was pretty sick of
Oh, even near death. I think 3 or 4 months later, he was dead. And he hits a pop fly out between Tony Cuccinello and me. First time in my life. I let the ball fall because there was about 3,000 kids just went wild and 33,000 people.
And what did you
in the
know? I want you to look in that camera and tell everybody what you thought and said to yourself. Look
What
in
I
that
said to
camera.
myself? Well, it was the biggest thrill, I think, in my life to play against the Babe Ruth. I should have done one thing, caught the ball and put it in my pocket because it might be worth about $100,000.
This is for you, so you did one for the Babe.
I let one fall for the Babe because when he looked out from first base, I said, that's for you, buddy. And he went to his maker with a base hit. Every priest I spoke to, everybody said you did the right thing.
Oh, sure you did
But
the right
what a
thing.
man. Oh, what
But
a
I
thrill.
guarantee you, if it was a league game, that wouldn't have happened. Not you, Tommy.
Not with Casey
See,
Stengel.
Marty Adler is president of the Brooklyn Dodgers Hall of Fame. Tell us about this Hall of Fame and how we can get there, where it is, and what are we going to see there?
The Brooklyn Dodger Baseball Hall of Fame is located in Brooklyn Heights, 128 Pierpont Street. And it was the growth of a school project, which later became a permanent thing for the borough and the entire city, as well as all of baseball. And we keep the memory and the spirit of the Brooklyn Dodgers alive.
It's open every day, or?
Tuesdays through Saturdays, I think Sunday too, 10 to 5.
It's something to bring the kids to.
Yeah.
Before we cut this off, I know there's somebody very important watching you out there. Your grandchild, what's his name?
Maxwell.
Look in that camera and say hi.
Maxwell, your mommy and daddy want you to go to sleep, but don't listen to them. Stay up and watch Grandpa.
We are celebrating. Now, that is a Brooklyn attitude. Marty Adler, ladies and gentlemen, and the great, legendary Tommy Holmes. This is Cousin Brucey. We are Brooklyn. Let's go back to Ronnie.
Amen.
I'd like to say hello and thank you to Maria Brigiotti, my daughter Amy's 6th grade teacher, who tells us that she was just back in Brooklyn on Saturday. And isn't it the truth that we all go back to Brooklyn? Because there's a reason. Brooklyn is terrific. I visited recently with Cousin Brucey. We were at Lundy's, and I saw an elderly couple walking down the street, and I said, you know, Bruce, they look just like my grandma and grandpa. Things haven't changed at all. It's just like the old neighborhood. And you can go back and visit the old neighborhood with this wonderful VHS of the Brooklyn show you're receiving this evening. It's our way of saying thank you for your $60 membership contribution on a credit card. We guarantee you that we'll get it out in time for the holiday season. And perhaps you'd like to order a gift membership for somebody very special to you so that you can share this wonderful tape with them. I know I'm going to send one to my mother-in-law. She's in Florida. She won't have an opportunity to see this, but I want her to because I know she's going to love it, as will you. It has additional footage on it, including some terrific interviews with Rudy Giuliani and Buddy Hackett talking about riding the trolley to Coney Island. And of course, there's a great segment on Nathan's. Can't you just inhale those French fries? I mean, every time I think about Brooklyn, how can you help but think about Nathan's and the hot dogs and the French fries and the wonderful memories? We've got lots of memories for you here tonight, including, if you would like, for a $250 membership contribution, the entire New York the Way It Was series. If you're enjoying Brooklyn this evening, you're going to enjoy the entire series, which features the first segment, the original New York the Way It Was. Part 2, the old neighborhood, which takes you into each of the neighborhoods around town and shows you that all the things are the same, just different people. Part 3, Wish You Were Here, which talks about the great vacation spots on the island, on Coney Island, a trip to the Catskills, and of course the program you're watching this evening, Brooklyn, with some terrific footage of Brooklyn as we knew it back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And who can forget those fabulous Brooklyn Dodgers? Who was anything but a Brooklyn Dodger fan, except for, of course, Rudy Giuliani, and he told you that. But I'm telling you that most Brooklynites were Brooklyn Dodger fans, and it didn't matter that they lost. It only mattered that you were a supporter of the team that meant so much to you. And we're asking you tonight to be a supporter of this team, the WLIW team, because you're a very special part of it. The most important part of it, as a matter of fact, because it's your member dollars that make it happen here. And with your membership contribution, we're going to say a very special thank you with this wonderful VHS of the program. For your membership contribution of $60 on a credit card, we will send it out to you just as quickly as we can with a guarantee that you will have it in time for the holiday season. What a wonderful gift. Or what a wonderful opportunity when you have everybody over for holiday dinner to sit down, to sit around the table and to relive those memories, which somehow get a little lost in the translation until you have a visual to be able to share with. And I guarantee you that your family will be able to live those memories with you when they see it right here on this wonderful tape. The program, New York the Way It Was, Brooklyn. A wonderful opportunity for you to enjoy great things with your family. We'd like to thank the very special people involved in making this possible. The members who became members last year. Well, here's your perfect opportunity to renew this evening and to have an opportunity to reinvest your dollars again in ensuring that more great programs come to WLIW. Would you like to see another segment in the New York series? I know I would. Let us know which one it will be, because the Brooklyn series was produced tonight for you, because of you, because you told us you wanted to see it. And I'd like to thank some very special people who helped to make the ongoing series possible. People who joined us this evening, like Mildred Davila from Brooklyn, and John Mastandrea from West Babylon, Martin Siegel from Cedarhurst, Joseph Lupkin from Great Neck, Gene Johnson from Southampton, all over the tri-state area. And wherever you may be calling from, please do call and let us know how much you're enjoying the show.
Shirley Milton. Shirley Milton of West End Avenue, New York City.
Isn't that nice?
Isn't that nice?
Isn't that
That's
nice?
Great. And
Wonderful
I got a
people.
note here, Ronnie. It says, Cousin Brucey, this is from Dr. Mark Kramer, who went evidently to Madison High School like I did in Brooklyn. It says, Brucey, do you remember Abe Moss, the cop of Madison High School? Dr. Kramer, Mark, do I remember Abe Moss? He smacked my hand. Everyone smacked my hand. I must have been a rotten kid.
Did you happen to see the article in Newsday the other day featuring famous Madison High grads?
I was told about it.
You didn't see it?
No,
oh,
I
I
was
must show it to you. I have it with me. I'll bring it out a little bit later because it lists among the most famous people that graduated from Madison High none other than good old Cousin Brucey Morrow.
Gosh.
And it puts you in terrific company.
Hey, listen, I am so excited. We got all these premiums. I met Tommy Holmes. Who knows what it's going to happen? We're going to see outtakes tonight
We
that
sure
you're not
are.
seeing in the thing. We're going to have have a lot of fun. And also, I took a Channel 21 camera crew. These are the kind of things that we can do, right? Because you support this great work here. Are you having a great time with Brooklyn? Wait, you ain't seen nothing yet. I took this camera crew to Brooklyn, New York, and through the magic of Channel 21 digital television, I'm going to teleport myself back to, I grew up in Flatbush, and I think we're going to go to, Sheepshead Bay first, right? My dad and I used to go fishing, right, in Sheepshead Bay. I think I can do this. Now, I don't want to scare you. Look at me. I got to say a few things.
I'm a little worried here.
I get a little weird when I do this, but I
get a little worried.
Avenue X. Avenue, Kings Highway.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I think we're going to have an opportunity to see Cousin Brucey. I hope he made it okay, because I know that he was going to have a wonderful time at Sheepshead Bay. The important thing is, did he get there? That was a little hairy over here, that trip, and I hope he made it all right. Let's see, Cousin Brucey, are you there?
Wow, this digital stuff is wild. Hey, Ronnie, here I am. I'm in Sheepshead Bay in Brooklyn, New York, on Bedford Avenue, right aboard the Pastime Princess. It's so great to be here at Sheepshead Bay, the fishing capital of the world. My dad and I used to go fishing here all the time. Love it. I got to tell you, coming here to Sheepshead Bay brings back so many memories. Memories of my dad and I. You know the best part about it? I remember we used to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. That was exciting for a little kid. I was about 8 years old. And we used to go to a diner right across the street here on Emmons Avenue in Sheepshead Bay. And those scrambled eggs, I can still taste them in that fresh bacon. And maybe a hard roll or a bagel and butter. Wow, terrific. And then, the magic moment. My dad would take me by my hand. He used to carry my tackle, and I used to carry the bait. He never used to want to touch it. I used to bait his hook all the time. Get on the boat, and then the adventure would begin. And there was all kinds of people on this. It's called an open boat, by the way. Everybody, the public was invited. And we'd go out for a day of adventure. And I think it's time for me to show you exactly my talents in fishing, what my dad taught me. Come on. On fishing. Lordy, dear boy, there's nothing more relaxing than coming on this beautiful pastime princess like my dad and I used to do, and just relax in the sun here at Sheepshead Bay and just hope I get a bite. Ooh, Ben! Ben! Oh, mackerel. Maybe that's what... hold it. I can't, Ben, I don't know if I can get this. Oh, boy, the pressure. That must be the biggest fish. Ben, what is that?
Come on, guys. What's this supposed to be, filet of sole?
Oh, that's pretty nasty, Ben.
Hey, Joe, he did it again. Another boot.
Ronnie, we go back to the studio. Get rid of it. I'm going to throw this back in the water. Get rid of it. Back in the water. It's too small. Back to you. Oh.
Well, Bruce, I guess they're still biting in Sheepshead Bay. What a gorgeous day. Blue skies, clear water, and a wonderful chance to revisit the place of my birth. And I know it's a wonderful opportunity for you tonight to go back to all those fond memories by sharing with us in New York the way it was, Brooklyn. And you can share even more by becoming a member here at WLIW and allowing us to say thank you for your support by sending you this wonderful VHS tape of the program that you're watching this evening. Brooklyn, it's our way of saying thank you for a $60 membership contribution on a credit card, and we guarantee you when you put it on that credit card that we will get it out to you in time for the holidays. And it includes not only the show you're seeing tonight, but an additional 30 minutes of great interviews and great vignettes that you will not have seen, but that you'll want to have as a permanent part of your library. The most important thing tonight is to make WLIW a permanent part of your involvement. And how you do that is by being... Oh, my goodness!
Oh, I'm sorry.
Boy.
Scared everybody.
It's a good thing you made it back. I was worried.
Listen, wait till you see what I'm doing next time. I'm either going to go to my school, or I'm going to Lundy's, which I'm going to talk about later, or my block, East 26th.
How are you finding the travel?
It hurts. It
hurts.
It sort of hurts. You know what hurts? It hurts over here a little bit. It's pulling. It's like it's pulling. You know where?
Oh, well,
listen,
be careful.
folks, while these breaks are on, and you're going to see some very interesting things, outtakes and intakes and everything, undertakes and overtakes, you can call because our operator's standing by. And when we go back to Brooklyn, which we will in a couple moments, please keep on calling. The phones are wonderful. You're doing your job. You're supporting what we're doing here at 21. We thank you. My mother thanks you. My father thanks you. Brooklyn thanks you. And we're going to be here. Please call us. Enjoy this thing. And we'll be back in a few moments with more of Brooklyn, USA. Brooklyn.
Yay!
Yes.
Give us a call.